When Roman Catholic priests and clergy came to the homes of native people to take away native children, you know what the police were doing? Instead of protecting the rights of all Canadians, they helped the Roman Catholic Church separate children from their families. If you did not comply with the Roman Catholic clergy or priest, the police would step in and physically tear you away from the mother. And instead of protecting true Canadians, not immigrated Canadians, they protected the Roman Catholic Church. And they did this because they were just doing their jobs, because they were just following orders. Nothing's changed. Nothing's different. If given those orders today, they would still follow them, just like they do every single day when they show up with a CPS worker or a church-sponsored worker or a government-sponsored worker. And the police will, again, today, show up. And instead of doing independent investigations, they'll take the word of a CPS worker who has taken the word of an anonymous source, an anonymous accuser. Except now they'll do it to anyone. Back then they'd do it to native people. Now they'll do it to anyone. They'll show up and at the bequest of a corporation or a government entity or even a non-governmental entity, they will show up and physically take your child away from you on an allegation, an unfounded, unproven allegation. An unidentified accuser can make this accusation against you, and the police will show up with no evidence, no proof, and they will show up and physically wrestle your child away from you without giving you a chance to protect yourself, protect your child, protect your rights. And they do this under the color of law, under the color of whatever disgusting code that they follow, just like the Nazis. They'll follow their orders, and they'll do whatever the state or whoever's ponying up the dough, and that's what they follow. 200 years to 100 years ago, it was the Roman Catholic Church that they backed up and followed and destroyed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of lives. There's your heroes. There's the people that want you to name bridges after them. There's the people that want you to revere them and lick their boots and comply and follow orders. And don't you dare complain. Don't you dare have an opinion. How dare you put this on those heroes? Just because you save one life, just because you've in your career saved a life, doesn't give you the right to walk around and act like an asshole to the rest of the citizens for the rest of your career. Doesn't give you the right to back up faceless corporations, to back up. Be a human. Be a human being. Don't be a Nazi scumbag piece of... I know it's easy to be spineless when you're wearing a uniform and when you've got a whole bunch of other spineless scumbags backing you. Heroes. You deserve outhouses and public restrooms named after you. Certainly not bridges. The contempt you show the people, the contempt, the sheer contempt you show the very citizens that have entrusted you to protect them. You claim that you're there to help serve and protect and help people. Where was your organization? Where was the help they were giving when they were backing the Roman Catholic Church? Where were the investigations and the inquiries made when 600 dead people went missing, killed by the Roman Catholic Church? Name bridges after you. The very nature of your organization and how you operate, how you victimize innocent people, and then walk home proud that you've done a good job, proud that you're serving and you're protecting. When you wrestle a child out of a mother's arms with no proof, just going on the word of some filthy scumbag piece of CPS worker who goes on a report of an allegation, an unproven, unfounded allegation, and you destroy a family, and you go home and you think you're a hero. You're somebody to be respected and reviled or revered. You're reviled, not revered. You're the reason people are happy and they cheer and they're so wonderfully it lightens their heart when they hear of a Dallas cop shooter running amok, massacring heroes. You walk around with your body armor and all of your weapons and all of your stuff, and you're scared of a guy with a camera doing nothing illegal. You're terrified, and you call 5 more of you. It's 10 more for a guy with a camera on public land doing nothing. Yeah, you're real heroes. Backing the Roman Catholic Church, destroying lives over indigenous people's rights. If you ever have a family member, that was a police officer in that time, during the residential schools and the Roman Catholics' purge of Native people, if you have ancestors that worked as police in RCMP, or for the Roman Catholic Church for that matter, and were part of that, you should kill yourself out of shame. Come visit me. I have a nice, well-manufactured noose here. You can borrow it. Bring it back to me, or arrange for your disgusting next of kin to bring it back to me. But you should kill yourself out of just sheer shame at what your ancestors did. And even today, if you're a police officer and you've ever backed an order that would do, which you have, if you're willing to go in and put a mask on and beat peaceful protesters in the rain and call that justice, and then expect to be called a hero, all you small town cops that bust up to Toronto during any number of protests that are peaceful, and you put on a mask and you go beat a peaceful citizen doing nothing more than voicing his opinion, whether it's agreeable to you or not, and you're willing to go and beat and tear gas and I'm so glad when I hear of dead cops. I'm so glad, because I know statistically, I know you're a scumbag. I know you've done reprehensible things in your career. I know that you've done terrible decisions and called it justice. I know you belong to an organization that totally disregards its citizens, that has such an incredibly large divide. You view yourself as above the citizenry that put you there, that you swore to protect and respect. What a disgusting time to be a pig. What a disgusting time to be a police officer and expect respect. Let's look at the history of the police force here in Canada. All in its history, you've backed the government forces when they've come to massacre natives. You've used the law. You've used color of law to put down native people under orders, and you sleep good. You use whatever excuse and rationale. Where was the excuse? What criminal act were these children doing? What criminal act? How do you twist that? You're so good at cop-splaining. You guys always have a, here's the deal. Where was the deal then? What kind of man takes an order to go take a child away from a family and go put them in a religious cult? What man does that? A piece of, not a man, a monster. A monster.